Welcome to Lymington, England, at the mouth of the Solent, home of the Royal Lymington Yacht Club and host of the 21st annual Vauxhall Royal Lymington Cup. What a spring this has been for the world of match racing. On their fourth attempt, the Kiwis have finally done the unthinkable. Led by Russell Coutts, they have wrested the cup from the United States. It is on this very match race circuit that Coutts developed his skill. In the summer of '95, Coutts and others we followed in San Diego have returned to this circuit in hopes of continuing their own individual effort to make yachting history. Making history as well, Brut by Fabergé. Brut has made a $500,000 commitment to develop this international match race circuit, which is offering the largest cash prize in sailing. The 5-event tour ranges in prize money from $25,000 to $100,000. In addition, there is a bonus pool of $50,000 split by the top 3 skippers at the end of the tour. And then, of course, the biggest incentive of all. With a $250,000 bonus going to the skipper winning 3 of 5 events, there is significant pressure on those competing on the Solent this week. In fact, with Roy Heiner, recent winner of the Brut Cup of San Francisco, absent, there are 4 helmsmen with a great opportunity to advance in this Brut series. Team Brut is led by 4 of the top-ranked match racers from around the world. From Europe, Frenchman Terry Pepinay and Brit Chris Law. From the United States, Ed Baird. And from Australia, Peter Gilmore. Keep in mind that Chris Law, Terry Pepinay, and Peter Gilmore have won this event before. All are equally at home in these waters. And it will be a great chance to see Ed Baird back in action. His last win was at the Knickerbocker Cup last fall. The competition so far, Law and Pepinay square off. World champion Bertrand Passé takes on rising star Jesper Bank. Local Stuart Childerley against Baird. With 3 quarterfinals complete, Bank will meet Baird in one semifinal, while Terry Pepinay awaits the winner between Beedsworth and Gilmore, an upset in the making.
You know, anybody can come along and beat anybody, and that is very much how I got into the game. And you know, it was once you overcome the fear of actually being beaten, you can do great things. And it's, I'm sure one day, even at this regatta, somebody will come along that you know, has overcome that fear and might knock off the top dogs.
A great start for third-ranked Peter Gilmore down 2 races. He leaves Andy Beedsworth 15 seconds behind. Now, Gilmore won back-to-back Lymington Cups in 1987 and '88. Last spring, he was in San Diego coaching the Nippon America's Cup team. Gilmore on the right with the yellow flag covers Beedsworth on the left with the blue flag. These Beneteau First yachts are fast, light, and quick. They're excellent for match racing, although they are a challenge in the strong currents here off Lymington. Gilmore's crew searches for the wind. These winds here are tricky, just like the currents. I love the checkered flag look on these boats for easy identification. Beedsworth, by the way, is ranked 21st in the world on the match race circuit.
You got a 1-tip bad enough here, guys. Tease a little bit of main.
By the final leg, it's anybody's race. Beedsworth on the right jibes on the starboard. Gilmore stays clear by jibing himself. Gilmore, the windward boat on the left, has to stay clear of the leeward boat on the right, Beedsworth with the right of way. But Gilmore does not respond, and both boats protest.
Move forward.
The ruling would be made by the on-the-water umpires watching carefully. The race would come down to this incident. After reviewing the situation, the umpires rule in Beedsworth's favor. Gilmore disqualified. A huge upset for Gilmore. The local favorite advances 3-0 to the semis. The 1995 Vauxhall Royal Lymington Cup is brought to you by Brut by Fabergé. Omega, the sign of excellence. And the #1 beer in Canada, Labatt Blue, the clean, crisp Canadian original. Welcome back to the English waters of the Solent. A look now at the Omega World Ranking List. Peter Gilmore and Bertrand Passé have already been eliminated, so the only skippers able to move up, Baird, Pepinay, and Bank. The 2-mile race course here at Lymington is a classic windward leeward. The first leg is sailed to windward, with a starboard hand turn around the first mark. Then they set spinnakers heading downwind. The third leg back to windward and another right hand turn before the final sprint to the finish. The entire race takes 20 minutes. Local favorite Andy Beedsworth joins Terry Pepinay in the first semifinal matchup. In the bottom of the draw, Jesper Bank from Denmark sails against Ed Baird out of St. Petersburg, Florida. Beedsworth is hot. He takes the start from 9th-ranked Pepinay, who leads the series 1-0 coming into this race. Now watch this tactic as Beedsworth lufts his jib, purposely slowing down to control the trailing boat. Pepinay is cool and watches and waits. He jockeys behind Beedsworth looking for an opening. The windward boat, Beedsworth on the right's got to stay clear. The two boats touch, and there's a protest. But the umps flag Beedsworth, who must do a penalty turn. Under the rules, you must make a 270-degree penalty turn to absolve the foul. Beedsworth on the right bears off and jibes, but doesn't complete the penalty, only going about 180 degrees. This puts him inside Pepinay, who talks it over with his crew. Hey, wait a minute, he says. You can't do that. As they head for the third mark, the current is ripping here on the Solent at 4 miles per hour. Beedsworth has the leeward position and now goes to windward. The two boats are jockeying, trying to get around the windward mark and attack the other boat. Beedsworth gets himself into a leeward position and holds Pepinay away from the mark. Both boats slow down. How confusing is this as the current sweeps both boats away from the mark? Now Pepinay on the left bears off to head back down to the third mark to set the spinnaker. Beedsworth on the right jibes. Now they're on opposite jibes coming at each other. Another protest. Pepinay on the left claims inside overlap at the mark. Beedsworth on the right stays clear, and the umpires rule no foul, green flag. Pepinay ekes out a lead as the boats tear downwind for the finish line. Beedsworth jibes in an effort to escape, and Pepinay covers. Pepinay takes the series 3-0, stalling the local favorites' run.
We took a few too many penalties, some which we should have avoided, and some which I think were marginal decisions. So we obviously need to learn a bit more and try a bit harder.
Pepinay will take on the winner of this matchup, Jesper Bank, number 10 on the Omega list, against number 5 Ed Baird, who coached Team New Zealand to victory in the America's Cup, the second semifinal, when we return. Welcome back to the Solent. A reminder to join the ESPN sailing team for the remaining 3 stops on the Brute Tour. And remember, any skipper who wins 3 Brute events will win $250,000. Ed Baird versus Bank in the bottom half of the bracket. Baird has not found it difficult returning to the circuit since his last victory in New York in '94.
You know, we come out here to win races, and it's just not that difficult, I guess, to get fired up. You look at the other competitor, they look at you, and you know they're trying to beat you. So it's a little bit like Fox and the Hound, you know. One person's going to succeed, and hopefully it's going to be us. So it's easy to get fired up.
With the series tied 1 race apiece, Ed Baird in the red boat on the left leads Bank back to the starting line.
Out a bit. Go! Come up! Come on, up if you want to.
The countdown proceeds as the boats run the line with Baird pushing Bank. Baird tacks and Bank follows, but Baird has the speed, or he hopes he does.
Nej, for helvede. That killed it.
the wrap didn't come off, but that really killed us. We got to go forward here, guys. We can't afford to point.
It's now a race for speed, bow to bow, both boats trying to survive. This is great match racing. Both crews are using everything they have to drive the other boat away. And it's Bank who folds. Tacking away from the squeeze, Baird is putting on him. Baird leads around the top mark, but here comes Bank again, off the wind, closing fast.
Last line.
These guys really push it. They're calling mast line, when the mast of the leeward boat is aligned with the skipper of the windward boat before there's even an overlap. The umpires green flag that nonsense. Baird takes a dip toward Bank and gets yelled at. But again, no penalty is called. In match racing, we call this venting hot air. It's all part of the head game. Bank has the critical inside position, and there's nothing Baird can do about it. He rounds behind the Dane. With his boat choking on the disturbed wind off Bank's sails, Baird is forced to tack away into the unfavorable current, and this race is history. On the final run, Bank has a comfortable lead. He'll go on to the finals against Pepinay.
Well, we felt that we sailed well today, and we thought we did a lot of things right. But it just, anytime there was a chance for unfortunate things to happen, they seemed to happen to us rather than to the other, to Jesper. And they sailed really well, took advantage of every opportunity, and you know, got ahead. But we did lead 3 out of the 4 races, and you know, it's disappointing when you can't hold on to a lead like that.
So the final is set. Frenchman Terry Pepinay squares off against 1992 Olympic gold medalist Jesper Bank in an all-European final. Feel the need to know more? Join YachtNet, the first global online service devoted entirely to sailing. All you need is a computer, a modem, some basic software, and it's like having your own wire service. Get to know the Team Brute skippers and other top-ranked sailors with skipper profiles. To see who's hot and who's not, visit YachtNet for the most up-to-date postings of the Omega World Rankings. Stay ahead of the curve with a complete listing of upcoming Brute events and their ESPN air dates by simply accessing YachtNet on the internet. San Francisco winner Roy Heiner leads the $50,000 bonus pool, but will surely be challenged by Pepinay when we come back for the finals. Welcome back to Lymington. Last year's winner, Chris Law, made an early exit this year, while 1993 champion Terry Pepinay looks to claim his second Royal Lymington Cup. Our final is set. 9th-ranked Terry Pepinay versus 10th-ranked Jesper Bank. Both are tuned up and ready for the showdown.
He's not a mystery man. We know who he is. We know we have to sail up to our very best to even compete against him, because he's good at this moment.
15 knots of wind and 3 knots of current. A best-of-5 final. The winner, one step closer to a $250,000 bonus prize for the series. The 2 boats split at the start, a move that always makes the first cross critical. That's Bank on the right and the red checks Pepinay on the left. And here comes Bank. and Pepinay tacks over to starboard. It's now a speed race. Can Pepinay get clear wind? Bank stretches and looks calm. Remember, this man is a gold medal winner in the Olympics in '92, and he's used to pressure. Bank tacks for the mark. Pepinay can only follow. The strong current is sweeping the two boats toward the mark at the top of the screen. Bank rounds and jibes right away. His crew responds with a good spinnaker set. Nice job. Only 11 seconds separate the two boats, and Pepinay doesn't jibe. He splits with the leader, a basic tactic in this sport. Soon, the two are 10 boat lengths apart, with Pepinay gaining. By the final leg, the wily Frenchman has found more breeze on the left and gains. It's neck and neck to the finish, with Pepinay on starboard and inside, a double bonus. But here comes Bank, sailing a proper course for the finish. Pepinay holds fast.
Water! Water!
Both protest as they sail past the wrong side of the finish line. Pepinay clipped the mark with his boom. Both quickly take the spinnakers down and round up to sail back to the finish line. And here's the call. Pepinay is cited for not allowing Bank to sail a proper course. He must do a penalty turn. Meanwhile, the crews struggle to clear decks and hoist jibs. Bank leads across and takes a frantic race. Wow! Now, with a one-race lead, this would be the last time Jesper Bank would seem so at ease. The pair would swap victories for races 2, 3, and 4. Race 2 in light air, Pepinay on the right in blue attacks Bank, who tacks away. Pepinay likes the right and goes back. And the right pays off. In these conditions, there's not much for Bank to do. Pepinay leads around the course with no mistakes and evens the series. Race 3 is all Mr. Bank, the wind going lighter. Bank takes the start, hits a wind shift perfectly, and sails around uncontested. It's a seesaw battle, as any good final should be. Bank now leads 2 races to 1 in the best of 5. Race 4 provides a classic example of match race starting tactics, an aerial dogfight on the water. Pepinay gets off first and covers perfectly around the course. Race 5, a sudden death showdown when we return. A look at the statuesque needles that mark the entrance to the Solent. The strong currents make it necessary to alter the course for the final. A reach leg has been added to square the downwind run to the leeward mark. The sailors will make 2 laps on this adjusted course. Pepinay wins the start and leads approaching the first mark. With a different course, a different strategy. So far, Pepinay calls it right. In lightning breeze, Bank rounds 11 seconds behind the Frenchman. But once again on the run, Bank closes in. This man is good at downwind sailing. Bank forces Pepinay to jibe away to clear his wind. Bank follows immediately, stalking his rival. It's difficult handling these spinnakers in strong current. Pepinay watches Bank move up on the inside. The two are overlapped. Do these two ever tire a protest? Green flag, no foul by the umpires. Bank has a nice overlap approaching the leeward mark. He's exactly where he wants to be. Pepinay in trouble. Bank makes a nice job keeping good speed with the spinnaker up. On the left, Pepinay has trouble keeping the spinnaker filled. Bank rounds smoothly against the current. Pepinay jams his boat right around the mark and he hits it right in front of the race committee. But his boat blocks the view and no one sees the violation. Pepinay tacks away and Bank covers. Another look at the rounding. Watch the orange buoy compress. No question about it. If this had been a mine, it would have gone off. But the race continues. No penalty. Bank still leads up the second beat. But a huge left-hand wind shift puts Pepinay suddenly in the lead. If Bank can't believe this turn of events, wait until he sees the tape of Pepinay hitting the mark. Pepinay tacks to cover, and Bank tries to power through on the inside. Bank hangs in under Pepinay and rounds the mark on the inside. Pepinay on the left blankets Bank's wind. Bank slows down. Pepinay takes the lead. Now it's a drag race. Bank struggles to regain his overlap before the next mark. But Pepinay keeps Bank's surging bow behind him. Pepinay's hand signal indicates no overlap, and therefore he'll leave no room for Bank to round the mark inside. Bank will have to round after Pepinay. But Bank goes for it. He thinks he can sneak inside. Pepinay closes the door. The boats collide. Bank will have to do a penalty turn. The blue shape, a grim reminder to Bank of his penalty assessment, and time is running out. He trails Pepinay to the finish. He does his turn, but the race and the Vauxhall Royal Lymington Cup go to Terry Pepinay. The Frenchman collects $7,500 and 100 bonus points. Bank, a strong showing for his first Brute Series event. Pepinay happy to escape with a victory.
We had a last race very close, very exciting. Yes. The wind was very light, but so shifty, you know, and we stay all together in one length for the race, and it was good fun.
With a win here and a third-place finish in San Francisco, Pepinay vaults to the top of the $50,000 bonus pool standings, followed closely by Bertrand Passe, Peter Gilmore, and Chris Law. A first-place trophy and his second victory here in Lymington. And of course, the crowning moment, a bottle of Moet for teammates and friends. This ESPN presentation has been brought to you by Brute by Fabergé. By Omega, the sign of excellence. And by the #1 beer in Canada, Labatt Blue, the clean, crisp Canadian original. For all our ESPN sailing team, we'll see you in France.